Dress right, dress. Ready, front. Draw, sword. Right, face. Forward, horse. Color guard, halt. Left, face. Present, colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last steaming, whose first stripes and bright stars to the peril at fight? For the rapids we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets cracked there, the birds singing there, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, Satan's last star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Carry swords. Right, face. Forward, horse. Color guard, halt. Left, face. Return, sword. Dismiss.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us of our virtual Breakfast with Champions. My name is Greg Simmons, longtime sportscaster for KSAT 12, and thank you for joining us this morning. We'd like to thank everyone who participated in our opening ceremonies. April Sanders, our Special Olympics Texas athlete, for singing the national anthem. The presentation of colors performed by the 4th degree members of the Knights of Columbus. 2nd District, Our Lady of Guadalupe Province, in the Archdiocese of San Antonio. Morgan's Wonderland for hosting this event, along with Reverend Bob giving the invocation, the Leon Valley Police Department, Special Olympics athlete Reuben Young for carrying the torch. We invite all of you here to open your hearts and minds to commit to working together to create a world where everyone is included. We ask you choose to include. We're honored to have so many taking the time this morning to watch this event who truly believe in this amazing revolution and are willing to act on it. At this time, I would like to invite Reverend Bob of St. Gerard Catholic Church to lead us in this morning's invocation.
Let us pray. Father, we are thankful for this day, its blessings, opportunities, and challenges. We pray for strength and guidance for each day as it comes. We give thanks for this food we are enjoying and the company here with us. We are thankful for Special Olympics Texas for giving us the inspiration, the courage, and the hope to do our best every day. Please keep our servicemen and women all over the world safe from harm. God bless everyone for coming here today to share with us our love for Special Olympics Texas. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Bob, for that beautiful invocation. We are here today to celebrate the great athletes of Special Olympics Texas as we showcase the importance of acceptance and inclusion for all. It is my pleasure to introduce someone who truly embodies this vision, Mr. Gordon Hartman, founder and CEO of Morgan's Wonderland, followed by Tim Martin, CEO and President of Special Olympics Texas.
Welcome to Morgan's Wonderland. So glad you could join us for a celebration of a partnership, a real partnership between the Special Olympics Texas and Morgan's Wonderland. The partnership has grown following a very successful 2019 Summer Games hosted by Morgan's Wonderland. We had record attendance, record enthusiasm. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, Special Olympics Texas has had to make the tough decision to cancel the 2020 Summer Games. Well, we had to make an equally tough decision to close Morgan's Wonderland for the rest of 2020. But that hasn't slowed us down. Special Olympics Texas, Morgan's Wonderland, confidently looking forward to a bright future. After successful 2019 games, we discussed with Tim Martin, our good friend, the prospect of hosting additional Special Olympics Texas events at Morgan's Wonderland and relocating their headquarters to San Antonio. This relocation is now taking place. Included in new Morgan's Wonderland Sports Complex, there is more ample space for Special Olympics Texas for the entire state headquarters staff. We believe this move will foster greater cooperation, greater coordination between us and the Special Olympics Texas and the whole family of Morgan's Wonderland. A great fit for two staffs that are extremely passionate about helping those with special needs. Now, two leading organizations can work more closely together to promote our ultimate goal, the goal of inclusion, to improve the quality of life for individuals of all ages and all abilities through initiatives that produce fully inclusive, ultra-accessible experiences. Special Olympics Texas, Morgan's Wonderland Partnership will help ensure long-term success for both organizations, headquartered now in San Antonio, which is also known as Inclusion City, USA. While we gear up for the post-pandemic return to being normal again, we want to focus to be on the support of those with special needs and their families. When normalcy does return, we're looking forward to hosting an even bigger and better 2021 Summer Games. Those games will occur on Friday, April 30th through Sunday, May 2nd, 2021. The Summer Games will involve not only Morgan's Wonderland, but also many other parts of the Morgan's Wonderland family. Those include Morgan's Wonderland, Morgan's Inspiration Island, which is a splash park that was proclaimed by Time magazine as one of the world's 100 greatest places. It will also include, as I mentioned earlier, Morgan's Wonderland Sports, a 3-acre, ultra-accessible, fully inclusive complex for fun, fitness, competition among athletes with and without special needs. And of course, Morgan's Wonderland Camp, a 102-acre recreational oasis on San Antonio's northern outskirts, only about 20 minutes from Morgan's Wonderland. And it will be able to accommodate some 515 campers at one time for sessions of varying durations. Unique facilities include a wheelchair accessible zip line and a wheel accessible challenge course. We know this is a very isolating time for many, so we challenge everyone to reach out, to make personal connections, help lift the special needs community with your support. Make a phone call, donate monetarily, donate through service, and finished 2020 strong. So again, we're excited about the future and our new relationship between Morgan's Wonderland and Special Olympics Texas.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tim Martin, CEO of Special Olympics Texas, and I'm so glad that you chose to join us for our Breakfast with Champions here in San Antonio. You know, these events don't happen by accident, so we really want to thank our sponsors here in San Antonio that have supported this great event. We also have many statewide sponsors that are there for us through thick and thin, and these times have certainly been thin, but we want to thank them so much for their continued support. You know, the committees that make this magic happen work extremely hard, and we really want to take a moment to recognize our Breakfast with Champions San Antonio Committee. We also have another group that works year-round to make sure the resources are there for our athletes and volunteers in the community. So our local resource board, we really want to make sure that they have a chance to be recognized as well today. You know, during these times, it's been very unique in Special Olympics Texas, not just Special Olympics Texas, globally, to watch how so many of our athletes have been working so hard to stay connected through programming. But really, it's the rest of us that are learning a process here. So many of us have been isolated at home, trying to figure out how to work in a way that we've never experienced before. The continuation of communication lapses, being away from our family and friends, being isolated completely from the community, not even getting a chance to go out to dinner, but in a lot of cases, we're living the lives that our athletes have lived most of their lives. This is a time for us to really have some empathy for our athletes, but also be guided by them. Our athletes guide us through these tough times and make sure we have a wonderful chance to ensure that every human being has a chance to reveal their greatness in the state of Texas. As we move through this, we need to make sure that we never forget how this felt and to live in a way that is unified within our movement. What is unified? Unified has been the backbone of Special Olympics for the last 10 years. I will tell you, mixed in with health and social programming, it's an absolute amazing way for us to push forward at Special Olympics. Yes, we're always going to be a sports organization, but as we've learned, Special Olympics is so much more than that. It is also a way for us to socialize, to build relationships, and to build lifelong memories that make sure that we have a chance to share with so many people that have never had that opportunity before. You know, the first 2 years I was here in Texas, I talked the first year a lot about my relationship that changed my life with Diana. Diana was an individual I met in high school who changed the human spirit of me. She took me from being a nasty, spoiled, entitled kid who was blessed with sports, and unfortunately in our modern day society, if you have a sport ability, you somehow have extra skills or that are looked up to in ways that are different than most. The reality was Diana had the skills. Diana had the true ability to change the content of a person's character. And that is amazing in the aspect. With that, I learned so much from Diana and how to get through the tough times. In the second year, I talked about a story that really irritated me, where I had a parent, of all people, that came to me when we had a dance team up on stage, and she said to me, "Those people should not have a chance to see things like this." And she pointed at our athletes. And I said, "Those people, what does that mean?" And as my anger built over the next couple days, I was driving in my car, and I said, "You know what? We're all one of those people. Get over it. Play unified." It's so easy in the modern day society to be able to label someone as different than us, act as though someone is different, and just distance ourselves from that individual. But the reality is we're the ones that are missing out if we take that action. We truly do not take the time to honor all of the differences in our society. And this is a way that Unified delivers that for us. So as we move forward and move forward with these programs, we want to make sure that we're changing what we do. But COVID forced that to be on a rapid pace for us. So what have we done at Special Olympics Texas? We completely changed our programming model. We went from in-person everything to almost virtual everything. And we know moving forward in the future that we're going to be a combination of both. We're so connected, is just that. It's a way for us to stay so connected with each other. So hopefully you've been a part of that. Hopefully you've took an opportunity to register to be a part of our new SOTX television station on YouTube. That's a huge piece for you to get involved with as well. And most of all, we want to make sure that we have communication pieces through our podcast and through other remote communication pieces that everybody stays attached in the state of Texas. So with that being said, we're set for explosive growth. Before we went into this, the growth was tremendous. We went from 100 schools participating in unified sports to over 450 schools in the last year. We went from 0 university campuses participating in unified sports to 21 campuses in a year. Health programs sprouted from not just screenings, but to preventative programming throughout the state of Texas. The UIL, the world's largest interscholastic program, has officially said, we want to be involved with Special Olympics. And vice versa, we said, of course we do as well. We anticipate 200% growth and over 100,000 athletes within the next 4 years. So with that being said, we need you on this ride with us, and it's going to be a great time for us. That being said, there's no more difficult times than we've ever experienced at Special Olympics Texas or as society as a whole than with this pandemic financially. So the chance for you to get involved and give to a great movement, support our athletes, and give every human being a chance to reveal their greatness is today. So please give to our athletes, give to all of our volunteers who are dedicated beyond your wildest imagination. And we guarantee you, the person you will be helping the most is you. Caution, Special Olympics is addictive, and welcome to the family.
Thank you, Gordon and Tim, for your time and commitment to the inclusion revolution and passion for making a difference. When it comes to showcasing their commitment, we get to personally experience this next group's involvement through law enforcement across the state, whether that is by carrying the flame of hope at a competition, visiting our athlete birthday parties, or hosting and supporting fundraisers just like this one today. We are grateful for the remarkable work that law enforcement does for our athletes and organization. Each year, law enforcement across the state combines to raise over $1.5 million. It is our hope you will join in those efforts today by making your donation by using the link provided. I'd like to welcome Detective Rafael Trinidad of the San Antonio Police Department to say a few words regarding law enforcement torch run and his involvement with Special Olympics Texas.
I get nervous when I talk in front of a camera and like that, so I'm just going to start with a joke. And so that joke is, why did the Special Olympics coach go into the bank? To get their quarterback. I know. I try. That's what just allows me to feel comfortable. Hey, listen, I wanted to be able to start with a joke, but I'm going to talk about something that's very serious. Now, I want you to think about what your child was doing when they were 6 years old. I know a child that was 6 years old that was found living in a chicken coop, while that child's siblings, 5 other siblings, lived in the house. This child was suffering from malnutrition and ultimately found to have suffered a traumatic brain injury. This child was not able to speak or understand any form of language. I know a child who was born with physical differences, and at 6 months old, this child had to have his scalp and skull removed in order to create the proper room for the brain to grow, or this child would die. Then at 8 years old, this child had to have the skin on the face pulled down to the lower jaw and to have the bones on the face cut and brought out in order for the rest of the face to grow into the newly aligned facial bones. Throughout elementary, middle school, and high school, this child experienced being stared at and having fingers pointed at the child wherever that child went. Amongst other names, this child was called an alien, a Goonies monster, an E.T., not only by fellow students, but by complete strangers, even while on vacation with their family. This child had been shoved in a locker, thrown into a laundry basket, and made to eat lunch alone, made to feel like an outsider, to feel excluded. Why did these situations mean so much to me? Why is it that I'm sharing these stories with you on this day? I never introduced myself to you, but I think now's a good time. My name is Rafael Trinidad, and I am a part-time Special Olympics coach. I'm also a veteran of our United States Air Force and a retired 23-year veteran police officer of the city of San Antonio. I've seen situations like this throughout my law enforcement career, and although I was able to immediately help children, like the children I just mentioned, due to calls that still needed to be handled in my section, I often had to turn over these children to other resources that the department had in order to give these children the needed services that they required for their situations. I felt as if I had not done enough of what I wanted to do for these children and felt empty inside when I left the scene. Special Olympics gave me and over 97,000 other law enforcement members the opportunity to help children, like the children I just mentioned, by participating in the Law Enforcement Torch Run. What is the Law Enforcement Torch Run, you ask? Well, I'll explain. The Law Enforcement Torch Run began in 1981 when Wichita, Kansas Police Chief Richard Lemunion created the Torch Run. He thought the Torch Run would help law enforcement be active in the community and support Special Olympics Kansas. In 1983, Chief Lemunion presented the program to the International Association of Chiefs of Police. They decided to endorse the Torch Run and became the founding law enforcement organization. With the IACP support, the Law Enforcement Torch Run became the movement's largest public awareness and fundraising group for Special Olympics. Known as Guardians of the Flame, law enforcement members and Special Olympics athletes carried the flame of hope into the opening ceremonies of local competitions. They also carried into Special Olympics state, national, regional, and world games. There are again over 97,000 law enforcement members that carry the flame of hope annually. The flame symbolizes courage and celebration of diversity, uniting communities around the globe. The Torch Run has grown over the years and now includes many fundraising platforms. These platforms include plane pools, polar plunges, tip-a-cops, and more. Since the beginning, the Law Enforcement Torch Run has raised over $600 million for Special Olympics programs. As retired Chief Richard Lemunion once said, when started in 1981, as a flicker of hope for Special Olympics, has now become a roaring flame of stability for Special Olympics athletes worldwide. The Law Enforcement Torch Run is changing the future for people with intellectual disabilities. Through the Law Enforcement Torch Run and Special Olympics partnership, we are lighting the way for acceptance and inclusion. Acceptance and inclusion. Now remember that young child that was found in a chicken coop? 6 months later, he was placed in a classroom where a teacher took a special liking to him. Because of the young boy's unconditional love he gave so passionately, and in return, only wanted to be loved back. So much so that if that teacher was having a meeting in a different room, this child would sneak into the room and jump into her lap. A year later, that teacher adopted that young child, and that young child lives with that special teacher to this day. That wonderful teacher has served for over 30 years as a Special Olympics coach. She is my personal hero, along with all the coaches in Special Olympics. Now remember that kid that was called an alien because of his differences? That young man is a member of one of these Special Olympic teams that makes him feel included and special. He had a great group of coaches and a better group of best friends. Because of Special Olympics and the loving actions of the staff, volunteers, and especially the coaches involved in Special Olympics, those children have found a home amongst their teams where they feel accepted and included despite their differences and are instead celebrated for their hearts. One last thing about me, I'm a 2-time cancer survivor with less than an 8% chance of living past 5 years. And I'm almost 3 years into that statistic. Most people wouldn't get on a plane with a less than 8% chance of it reaching its destination. Yet, while facing these odds, I've started a nonprofit and I've created a conference in an effort to help children and people in general who are in need. Now you can help these children and adults who are in need, not only by signing up to help as a volunteer in one of our many events, but also through your monetary donations. I have personally seen where your money goes when you donate. Ice creams after dances, Gatorades after track, and food either at the fields or at a restaurant after an event. Providing uniforms so these children get the experience of feeling a part of a team, even some for the first time, are where those donations go. So I ask you now to consider donating to a charity that has the ability to change people's lives for the better, as it has done for children that I spoke about earlier. Please consider donating to Special Olympics, because these children are truly special. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak about the children of Special Olympics.
Thank you, Detective Trinidad, for your dedication to our athletes and to our community. Our next speakers are proving to the world that no matter what is thrown their way, as long as they are unified, they can get through it. For those of you that are unfamiliar, unified, or the pairing individuals with and without intellectual disabilities together to grow in life together, is the movement in Special Olympics. It is unifying communities around the world, and it has enormous presence here in Texas, especially within our own schools. Through the Unified Champion Schools program, relationships and bonds are formed that can never be broken. I would like to welcome now Noah Willoughby and Conrad Tullis to share their story.
A lot of times depression makes you isolate yourself. It's like a constant fight, a lot of self-harm. That led me down a dark path that I'm still currently trying to find my way out. But that was before I got to know Conrad. That's one of the aha moments of my life. I met Conrad in the Special Olympics Unified Club, a club that unifies students with special needs and neurotypical students. Unified Club has really taught me how to communicate in different ways. Connor, do you think he's good at driving?
He don't see me safe.
The only thing really different about Conrad is he can't speak. Connor, you want to be best friends with James? People always come up and ask me, oh, how does Conrad communicate? And then I ask Conrad, hey, should we tell them how you communicate? And he'll give me a straight no. And I'd be like, oh man, I'm sorry, like I can't tell you. Like Conrad says no. And they're like, I didn't see what he did. Like I don't know, I still don't know. Did you do No Shave November, Conrad? I can see you have a little bit right there. He communicates with his eyes. So yes is like his eyes just moving pretty much. And then no is his tongue sticking out. Gotta make yourself look good, man. For the ladies. He can do what he wants to do. He just does it in a different way. Do you want to sleep here tonight? Yeah, that's a straight no. Hi, my name is Noah Willoughby, and I was part of the Unified Club at Alamo Heights High School from 2016 to 2018, and those years really changed my life. Let me start when I was young, maybe about 3 or 4. I remember my mom tried to tell me that my brother Sam was different from other people's siblings, but I don't think I quite got it. I was told I thought autism was an illness, so I wouldn't even touch my brother. As the years went by, though, I eventually got the idea that my brother was different than others. There was one instance when my friend was over at my house, and whenever my brother would come near us, my friend would hide under my bed. I would also go to school and tell people about what goes on at my house, and they would look at me weird as if my family was from a different planet. I thought, doesn't everyone go through this? Isn't everyone's sibling a little different? That was a wake-up call to myself, and a lot of people do not have exposure to anyone with a disability. I always thought going home to a house full of yells of wait and go was a norm. I always thought there are instructions velcroed to mirrors of basic everyday tasks in everyone's house. I always thought everyone had someone in their house who was fed by a feeding tube. Alas, that is not the case. As I grew up, I realized that my upbringing was quite different than everyone else's, and I am now proud to say that. Growing up with an older brother and then realizing that he is different is like planning a whole trip to New York and then unexpectedly landing in Roswell, Georgia. I'm sorry if anyone is from Roswell or Georgia, but hang on for the sake of the simile. Now, I have been to New York and it is a sight to see. Everyone wants to visit the beautiful skyscrapers, Times Square, the giant Christmas tree, and me personally, the M&M store. Imagine you paid for all of your tours, you booked all of your restaurant reservations, and prepaid for a very nice hotel room. Then, realizing by some odd change of circumstance, your plans got moved to Roswell. All of the anticipation and the eagerness for New York would go away and be replaced by figuring out what to do in Roswell on a minute's notice. You would have to scratch all of your plans and make completely new ones. Once you start researching Roswell, though, you realize it is not that bad and will open you up to a whole new culture and a way of living. When you land in Roswell, it hits you that it was not what you were expecting, but you try and make the most of it. When you experience Roswell, you fall in love with the character of the city and the pace things are run at. When you leave Roswell, you had the time of your life and made memories you will never forget. I never experienced Roswell, Georgia fully until I joined the Unified Club at Allen Heights here in San Antonio. I hope that comparison made sense because if it did not, you are probably wondering why I even went to Georgia and Roswell. I was brought into the Unified Champions Club by one of my coworkers who also attended Alamo Heights. She said they needed a treasurer, so I signed up, not thinking much about it. But little did I know that that signature would change my life. I was a junior at the time and was enrolled to be part of the Unified Theater class. It was very nerve-wracking because I never have ever done theater before, but that was where I was assigned, so I went with it. This class was also my first exposure to Unified, and it was a blast. Writing up a script incorporating every student's ideas was very challenging and often confusing, but we all loved it. Our play incorporated talking foxes, princesses, wizards, and time-traveling bad guys, which Conrad and I played. We ran all around the stage causing mischief and trouble, and both really got into character. After that, we liked to cause mischief outside of the theater room and out in public, as you saw in the documentary. We might have skipped a few choir classes just to give our teachers more trouble. Miss G can attest to that. Every single time we get together, smiles cover our faces, and those smiles I can only thank Unified for. I would have never gotten to have that experience if it wasn't for the way Unified included everyone and adapted to everyone's abilities. That was me experiencing Roswell at full capacity. These experiences laid a huge stepping stone to a better understanding and relationship with my brother. Now that I have left Roswell and am looking for my next journey, the time I spent there was something I will never forget. And I hope Unified can continue to help others find their own personal Roswell.
Wow, your commitment to Unified Movement and the way Special Olympics Texas has impacted your lives is truly inspirational. Please consider making a contribution today to help support students like Noah and Conrad and all 58,000 plus individuals and their families across the state of Texas who participate in Special Olympics.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniela Howell and I'm a franchisee here at your local San Antonio Dunkin'. On behalf of Dunkin' of San Antonio, we want to wish everyone a very happy Breakfast of Champions. Although we aren't able to physically be together, we're glad everyone is virtually coming together to celebrate the Special Olympics Texas in San Antonio. Dunkin' is a very proud community partner of Special Olympics Texas in San Antonio. We hope you all enjoy your $5 Dunkin' gift cards, and don't forget to celebrate one of our favorite days of the year, National Coffee Day, with us. Next Tuesday, September 29th, be sure to stop by your local San Antonio Dunkin' to enjoy a free medium hot or iced coffee with any purchase. We can't wait to see you there. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to introduce Special Olympics Texas coach and head of delegation, Jenny Kashan, and Special Olympics athlete, Adam Kashan of Bernie Place.
The word special means distinctive, particular, individual, unique. The Olympic Games originated in Greece over 3,000 years ago and has become the world's preeminent sporting competition. Their influence was so great that the ancient historians began to measure time by the 4-year increments in between Olympic Games. Put these two words together and you have Special Olympics, a world sporting competition for special athletes. My youngest son, Adam, is a 26-year-old man who is happy, loving, compassionate, a hard worker, and a person who loves the Lord. He loves activity, music, and being with his friends. Oh, and he has Down syndrome. Adam's first Special Olympic experience was not a very good one. It was a track meet in the hill country. He participated with his first grade class. He stood at the start line, and when the gun went off, as everyone took off down the track, he stood with his feet planted on the ground and his hands over his eyes. Everyone tried to coax him to go, but it took the classroom service dog to actually walk Adam down the track. He now competes in aquatics, bowling, basketball, indoor triathlon, cycling, tennis, and kayaking. He's really pretty good at swimming, triathlon, and kayaking, but mostly he just never gives up, and he always works hard, and he lives for Special Olympics. His participation in Special Olympic sports has helped him to improve his motor skills, his understanding of the rules of the game, his endurance, his sportsmanship. But he has also greatly benefited from the challenge of competition and the fellowship with his friends and his teammates. Most of his coaches are really his best friends now, both on and off the playing field. Adam has a very positive sense of self. He's confident and proud of who he is. He's happy and loving. Everyone in our town knows Adam Cashin. Adam loves everything to do with Special Olympics, basking in the camaraderie and the thrill of the race and the event, and of course the cheering. A couple of years ago, Adam competed in the state aquatic meet at Texas A&M University. He was one of 3 young men in a heat who competed in the 200-meter individual medley. That includes the 4 main strokes of swimming: butterfly, breaststroke, backstroke, and freestyle. The young man in lane 1 was very graceful and very smooth and fast, much faster than Adam. Lane 3 swimmer was steady but slow. Adam touched the wall in second place. However, at awards, Adam was put on the place 3 block. Lane 1 swimmer was on the place 2 block, and the slower lane 3 young man was up on the top, number 1. You see, Adam and lane 1 swimmer were both disqualified for technical violations. Adam's was an illegal breaststroke kick, which he has trouble with. The slowest swimmer received first place for his legal race. But Adam accepted his green participation ribbon with happiness, and he leaned into the winner to give him a great big hug, and of course, to smile for the camera. That makes me proud of Adam, not for the athlete he is, but for the person he is. Special Olympics has helped open up the possibilities so that he can be that person. At the beginning of this talk, I mentioned the meaning of the 2 words, special and Olympics, but to Adam, they're only one word. He can't speak well, but the word Special Olympics is peppered throughout his conversation every day and every year to everybody. Adam would not be the man he is today without his involvement in the Special Olympics. He's an ambassador for the program, not by his words, but by his actions, by his love of sports, activities, and competitions, by his display of fitness and sportsmanship. And as the ancient Greeks began to measure time according to the Olympic Games, so does Adam measure his schedule and calendar by the Special Olympic seasons, practices, and events. He is totally and 100% dedicated to the Bernie Blaze and the Special Olympics of Texas. You know, I can sum it up in just 2 words. Go Special Olympics!
It is now my pleasure to welcome our final speaker, Tim Taggart, joined Special Olympics Texas in 1991. He's competed in 12 sports, participated in the 1999 World Summer Games in North Carolina, as well as the 2003 World Summer Games in Dublin, Ireland. Tim's commitment to Special Olympics movement is unwavering, and his dedication to the inclusion revolution is truly an inspiration. Please join me in welcoming Tim Taggart.
Thank you for inviting me to be here with you today. I was no boy growing up. I was a little cocky and I thought I had all the answers. I competed in Pop Warner football and Little League baseball, where I excelled at both. When I was 15 years old, a junior in high school, my life came to a screeching halt. I was involved in an automobile accident. I sustained a traumatic brain injury, broke my jaw, and I was in a coma for 6 weeks. My parents were told the night of the accident that I would not live through the night. After the coma, I woke up and I had total amnesia. I didn't recognize anything, my family, or anything. I had to be taught everything again that I had already learned. I couldn't walk or talk. I was like a baby in an adult body. I had physical and occupational therapies, and a teacher from school came to read for me on my bedside. I couldn't respond back because my jaw was broke and I couldn't even talk anyway. It was traumatic, but at the time, that was all I knew. After 3 months in the hospital and many hours of therapy, I was released to go home and start my new life. I wasn't sure what that meant. I still didn't recognize my family, my room, or my house. It was all strange to me. These strange people talking to me that I didn't recognize, in a house that didn't seem to recognize either. I continued with outpatient therapies for the next year. After that, my long-term memories started to come back. After a year of therapies, I went back to school. I was now in special education. I had to repeat my junior year in high school. That was a difficult time for me. I talked different, looked different, and everything seemed to be going in slow motion. The administrators and teachers didn't know how to deal with me either, and I certainly didn't know how to deal with them. And my friends didn't understand who I was anymore, why I was different. They didn't want to be around me no more. Well, with a lot of support, I did graduate from high school. I didn't have a life or a future then. 2 years later, my life turned in a different direction again. I joined Special Olympics Texas. It has been a wonderful experience. I can once again compete in sports that I played before my accident, and I have learned many new ones. I've competed in athletics, basketball, bocce, bowling, cycling, flag football, golf, soccer, softball, table, tennis, and unified sports. Unified sports is where special athletes play on the same team with other athletes. I played basketball, football, soccer, and softball with my sister, and I played golf and softball with my father. With the support of Special Olympics, athletes like myself are able to compete all around the world. In 1999, I was chosen to be part of Team USA to compete in tennis at the World Games in Dublin, in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I won a gold medal. And in 2003, I was one of the 7,000 athletes from all over the world selected to compete in the World Games in Dublin, Ireland, where I competed in table tennis and won this gold medal. It's awesome knowing you're the best in the world. The Special Olympics staff arranged for a host family to help my family while we were in Ireland. They invited them to come over for their house to dinner. In order to make them feel comfortable, they purchased a Willie Nelson CD and played it during dinner. Willie's not my favorite artist, but it's the thought that counts. And I have been in several television commercials. One I did with my father that took 8 hours to shoot, that only lasted 30 seconds on TV. And I was a feature extra in the movie The Ringer. Everyone on the set was accommodating to all the needs of the athletes, from the producers, which were the Farley brothers, to the movie star, who was Johnny Knoxville, and it took 4 months to shoot the film that lasted an hour and a half at the movie theaters. I guess that's showbiz. I've won several awards, including Athlete of the Year, and my picture was on a billboard on the side of the road. That's a scary feeling, to be traveling down the road and seeing your face staring right back at you. And I've traveled all over Texas, Nebraska, and California sharing my story. I got to go to Washington, D.C. to visit the White House and talk to the legislators about Special Olympics. And I just completed the Health Messenger training, a new program the Special Olympics has started for the athletes. I will be able to teach other athletes how to stay healthy by eating the right foods and keeping themselves hydrated when they return to play and compete. Even though my life took a drastic turn, I have come out of it in a very positive way. Everybody is different, though. Special Olympics is for people with intellectual disabilities who are different because we learn new skills slowly. Through sports, athletes like myself see ourselves for our ability, not our disability. Our world is open up to acceptance and understanding. We become more confident and empowered by our accomplishments. With the staff of Special Olympics, I now have a rewarding life and a group of friends who can relate to me. We are all finding success, joy, and friendship with other athletes all around the world, having fun. Thank you.
Tim, thank you for being a Special Olympic athlete and pushing this movement forward. It is so difficult to listen to these volunteers, athletes, and their families without being moved. All of the stories you heard today demonstrate the importance of Special Olympics movement. We are all more alike than different. We are all one of those people. This movement is truly about creating a fully unified future for everyone. On behalf of all the athletes, thank you all for joining our first virtual Breakfast with Champions. Today, you have all made a significant impact on the lives of over 58,000 Special Olympics Texas athletes. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon.